like stereotypes and culture is a Venn diagram, right? Like they connect to one another, but there's that little pocket where they overlap, but they're also just different things. You know what I mean? I would even say it's like a circle. Like stereotypes exist within the circle, right? And there's a little circle of stereotypes, but like the culture is a more broad thing. But yeah, your culture is defined by like the people around you, right? So in Moncks Corner, South Carolina, what is it? The Geechee?
So that's the low country. Low country, yeah.
So it's like that's going to have influence, the language, the accent,
right.
all these things. That's culture. Like California surfer culture in like San Diego or San Clemente is its own unique thing that is, it has
Mexican culture in California.
The most slept on cultural influence in America in rap, in fashion, I think is like the Chicano Mexican influence on the West Coast.
And you said Chicano.
Yeah.
So I'm saying there's subcultures within even that.
Yeah,
within the Mexico.
That's how that would refer to. But yeah, go out.
Isn't a bunch of like...
Oh, I'm sorry, real quick. So like New York culture, so there's like a crossover even like as a white kid growing up in New York obviously is different than growing up Puerto Rican or growing up black.
That's right.
But there's a shared New York culture that we all have. And then that goes in a certain direction if you're Italian, a certain direction if you're Puerto Rican, a certain direction if you're black. But there's a shared pool of slang words that we kind of use. And then when you go Puerto Rican, all of a sudden there's a few more of the Spanish slang words that exist right there. You go black, there's a few more of more black slang. Like you go Italian, there's a few more.
So those are all different. Those are all different subcultures within large New York culture. That's why New York culture can be so easily spoofed.
Yeah.
They're not spoofing the subcultures. Mm-hmm. They're spoofing the New York culture.
It's basically the stereotypes.
That's basically the stereotypes. No, you're absolutely right.
But if you add up a bunch of like those lived experiences or just things that we kind of do in common, isn't that what, like put together, that's what makes a culture?
I don't think
so.
Like
hip hop is black culture. We started it. We identify with it. It's one of the things that we claim when people try to take it away from us. That's culture.
I think hip hop is a genre. I think hip hop is a genre of music that we created, and I think within that genre of music there is different cultures of hip hop. For example, the culture of New York hip hop wasn't the same as the culture of down south hip hop. The culture of down south hip hop wasn't the same as the culture of West Coast hip hop.
Yeah, but you still keep saying hip hop, and hip hop is a black thing. It's a black art form.
But it's a genre, art form, a genre of music.
I mean,
that's what compiles culture.
You can't even say
the music, the food, the dress,
but it's
all those things together.
But it's different in all of these different places. Like you can look at a West Coast guy and say, "Oh, I know where he's from." You can look at a down south guy and go, "Oh, I know where he's from." You can look at a New York guy and go, "That's why the Timbs was in New York."
What's the music? It's